Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another HeroMarinE cast. Today we're going to be having a look at a best of 5 played between the top right spawning as the red Protoss player. It's going to be ShoWTimE. And the bottom left spawning as the blue Terran, it will be HeroMarinE. This is a game, or a best of 5, from the Home Story Cup. I should say Stay at Home Story Cup, excuse me, that is currently being played, which you can of course follow on twitch.tv/TakeTV, where by the time this video is up, I think they will be either in the final group stages or otherwise tomorrow. Perhaps you guys can catch some of the bracket action, as here we have HeroMarinE versus ShoWTimE. A little bit of a German party. And they played last Monday, I believe, in which HeroMarinE actually lost to ShoWTimE, which is a first in a while. ShoWTimE has been losing a lot against HeroMarinE, but yeah, last Monday wasn't quite the case. So curious to see what's going to happen here. As the first probe is moving across the map, is going to find this barracks as well and say, hey, what's kicking off here, buddy? Well, not much apparently, as he leaves again. Might come back for a block on that natural, as you usually tend to do with your first probe. Just go around, peek up, see, hey, what is the timing on the barracks, and then you want to block the natural. That's exactly what we're going to be seeing. Core first into Nexus coming out of ShoWTimE. So a very standard opening with a very standard wall. Gateway Cyber will allow for either a Stargate, Twilight Council, which will remain hidden from the Reaper. SCV Scout coming out of HeroMarinE as well, just making sure that indeed there is a Nexus, and also probably wants to peek into Scout if there is a second gas or just a single gas, as we have been seeing a lot of, actually just peeks to make sure that there is an Nexus and then pisses off again. That's interesting. We have been seeing a lot of things, a lot of triple gate action with the one gas, which is a build that Barding love to use in the latest Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. Played against Cure, played against TY, played against Innovation. ShoWTimE not playing that though, as he opened up. Ooh. Adept Sentry into Twilight Council. Now he's played this build a bunch in the last week and a half. I remember seeing him play this exact build order last week. I, for the love of me, can't remember where it was. It was in a Wardii tournament, if I recall correctly, but I don't know which one exactly. Almost gets the Reaper here, which would have been a pretty big deal. Doesn't end up getting it, and now tries to hide his hallucination. What do we have coming out of HeroMarinE here? We have a Hellion. We have a starport and a couple of... No? Cancels the Marines. Oh, didn't start the orbital command yet. Okay, so those Marines are relatively late. It's gonna probably be opening up something like a double car. Yeah, triple car. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So could be either for a Marine drop and then the Hellions in the front, or just Marine Hellion, everything in the front. However, ShoWTimE is going to most likely scout this, as we have the hallucination flying across the map, sees the Reaper here, sees the, I think he saw that car as well. So he's gonna know that there's a Reaper and a car on his side of the map. Robotics facility going down. So we see on the mini map a probe moving towards the third base as well. Now here, ShoWTimE most likely will figure out, hey, what's being built here from this starport? What's being built here from this factory? This most likely is just going to be a drop, whether that is Hellions or whether that is mines. ShoWTimE will not know yet. All he knows for now, okay, well now he knows, that there's going to probably be triple factory units, which indeed is the case. We see 3 Hellions and then a medevac. So it's going to be 7 Marine, triple Hellion. We'll see where he will decide to go. Do we have any batteries anywhere? Is the question for now. The answer, a resounding no. An absolute resounding no. 3 Stalkers in the main base. There is no probe here for the full wall, which surprises me. Because usually when you play against something like this, what you want is a probe for the full wall. Okay, here come the Marines. Being unloaded. Oh! Force field being used here. 2 Hellions make it in. Meanwhile, in the main base, 2 Stalkers still capable of 2-shotting Marines, because the healing of the medevac wasn't great. 7 workers went down so far. 8, 9. Gonna see 10 and most likely 11. No, a little bit of a missed target there. No, 11 goes down. So 11, 12 workers go down as ShoWTimE takes HeroMarinE takes an impressive lead here in game number 1 of this best of 5. ShoWTimE down 2 workers. As a Protoss player, you want to be up like 7, 8 workers in this type of scenario. Right now he's down 10. And that's gonna bite him in the bum a little bit. We see +1 armor starting. But he's still on 2 gateways. How is he going to be able to hold the next push? I don't quite see it. I don't quite understand how that will be possible. Now, sure, a lot of units were invested in that push. And sure, there's going to be a while, quite some time until this stim and this combat shield finishes. But, I mean, I don't see a lot of counter damage being done here. No, he might get, what, 3 workers or so? He's gonna end up getting 4, maybe even 5. No, just gets 3. As he blinks out 3, 4. How many extra gates we're gonna throw down Mr. ShoWTimE as he gets a sentry at the, what's this, the 3rd base. He starts a prism, 53 workers to 45. So we see the mineral income going in favor of ShoWTimE just a little bit. Gas still heavily in favor of our main HeroMarinE as he has 1 extra gas over ShoWTimE. Now we see the units lost total is in favor of ShoWTimE, but because his eco was a little bit worse, HeroMarinE will most likely start pulling ahead in supply in the next minute or so. He's up 10 by now. Wouldn't be surprised if that hits 20 unless ShoWTimE managed to pick up a lot of units here. Gets 1 Marine, good start, gets a 2nd Marine and decides to blink backwards. We have 2 batteries on the way, we have an Immortal on the way, we have more gateways. What is the gateway count we're currently going to? I count 7 here and I see 1 more here. 7 plus 1, don't manage to finish that one without a calculator. It's going to be 8. So the prism flies across the map as well. And now, oh my god, he has nothing. There is a Raven here as well. The army isn't even that big for HeroMarinE. The problem is that I'm kind of afraid of this Raven here. Prism makes it into the main base. Are we going to see a big warp in? No, not quite the case. This is going to cost HeroMarinE a couple of SCVs almost immediately. Good blink forward coming out of ShoWTimE, who... he laughs in the face of danger. Still kind of... No. This is laughing a little bit too hard. This is why I don't laugh in the face of danger. 6 workers going down though, and ShoWTimE actually starting to stabilize right now. Sure, he doesn't have any follow-up tech yet. Maybe this isn't as good as he probably would want it to be, but he's still alive. He's still alive. His prism was still alive. I don't mind his position. Compared to how the early game went, I feel like his situation right now, he can be a happy camper. A relatively happy person. +2 starting. Templar Archives going to be going up to 6 gas here on 3 bases. 49 workers to 62. What is HeroMarine's plan here? We see no armory going down yet. Not even +1 armor. Alright. HeroMarinE here probably moving into all-in territory. So how many mines is this? This is 8 mines. We see the anti-armor seeker missile is being used. Single turret is being used. Oh, there's so many mines here. Holy crap. How is ShoWTimE gonna hold this? I don't quite see it. Super battery gets used, but these trades are not what ShoWTimE wants. So yeah, there's just so many mines here. This is gonna be extremely hard. How does the... There's no charge even. Or sorry, no storm yet. There is charge, obviously. Let's take a look at these force fields. Will ShoWTimE be able to... No, not quite. Will not quite be able to get them. Armor on the way for HeroMarinE now as well. No secondary tech structure. No Ghost Academy. These mines are doing big work. I wouldn't mind if HeroMarinE somehow finds a way to disengage and manages to save these mines before it's too late. Before he gets pushed back, which is exactly what's happening right now. He's getting pushed back. He's... it's gonna fall a little bit. It's gonna go down a little bit in supply. Still up overall, but I mean only that. Ooh, this is a lot of buildings at the same time. He probably had a little bit too much money there. Starts his liberators as well. Gets his gases, armory, 2nd eBay, Ghost Academy, all at exactly the same time. ShoWTimE desperately is trying to keep his Gateway Cybercore alive, and in general just trying to stay alive, right? He doesn't have any big splash yet, doesn't have Storm, doesn't have Disruptors, doesn't have Colossi. His Immortal count is okay though at 3. He's gonna get a 4th one, 2 more Archons on the way, or sorry, 2 more Templar morph into an Archon, as we have a 4th Nexus down here for ShoWTimE. We see the mineral income is heavily in favor for HeroMarinE right now, as HeroMarinE seems to be in a fine spot still. He's getting the enhanced shockwave and 3 ghosts. He's probably gonna be going for another push. And honestly, I'm kind of afraid for ShoWTimE here. I mean, his army consists of purely gate units and then storm, and all of these units just they simply just don't trade very well against whatever it is that HeroMarinE is going to have. In this case, the ghost. Like, Ghost just own that army. There's 2-2 on the way for HeroMarinE. There's no 4CC yet, though. I wouldn't mind seeing a 4CC as HeroMarinE move back. Yes, a crap ton of medevacs. 9 medevacs. Wow, 7 mines. We have a prison, 4 Templar in it as well. This army is so susceptible to EMP. And this army isn't that susceptible to storm. Only 16 marines, a lot of marauders, bunch of ghosts, a bunch of mines. Alright, ShoWTimE, we're gonna need some good storms and we're gonna need them quickly. Can we get some shockwaves? Can we get some EMPs? That's a banger. One on the left, perhaps? No, says HeroMarinE. Okay. Storms from the back. Good. Oh my, no, fantastic. These storms were absolutely wonderful. We're gonna need some type of detection here to deal with all of these mines. Where's that robotics facility? Oh, ShoWTimE. Oh, here comes the observer. It's so important that these go down before they shoot again. Oh no, here comes ShoWTimE. Here comes ShoWTimE. It's gonna try to chase right now. 2 more EMP men show up. Not losing these mines is so big. It means they're gonna get another shot here. Or at least we'll tank a lot of the damage. There's 2 more zealots die. A lot of these Archons are losing shields right now. 1200. Why they said 1200? I meant to say 12 minutes into the game. Military time. That's a couple of big storms hitting. And ShoWTimE kind of trying to turn this fight around once again. He's doing a good job here. Still no fort. Okay, now fort is here finally. So we have +2 attack about to finish here for ShoWTimE. And 2-2 altogether is about to finish. Excuse me, +2 armor just finished for ShoWTimE, and 2-2 is about to finish for HeroMarinE. There we go. We now have ShoWTimE on an army that looks slightly more scary. There's a couple of Colossi here. No thermal lance yet. I don't think he can just move up. Nah, I guess it's possible. Can't just move across. He has a lot of immortals though. That's what, 5? 4? Jeez, my counting has been mediocre today. I mean, he has Colossi. How many Vikings is there? There's 2 Liberators. But without range, I'm not really feeling it, right? There is a Sentry, not enough for Guardian Shield, which counts as 2 armor upgrade. Oh. Yeah, absolutely not, ShoWTimE. Absolutely not. We're gonna need to see a rotation if you want to try to break this. There's a lot more Marines now than before. Well, a lot more. There's 24. Only 17 Marauders. There's still 6 Ghosts as well, though. So this army will be entirely without those shields. Unless HeroMarinE falls asleep on his keyboard. Here comes ShoWTimE. I'm not too sure about this one, guys. I'm not too sure about it. Thermal lens still not done. Colossi 3 and 4 are showing up now. The sensor tower is going to fall. And I think we're going to see a fight, at least a little bit in the open. I wouldn't mind if he positions himself here and then sends zealots into the natural. That would be quite the play even. As extended thermal lens finishes up. And HeroMarinE playing this very, very cautious. No disruptors on the way yet. Which surprises me. Lots of EMPs. Vikings focusing the Colossi, not the Prism. 1 storm, 2 storms. Oh my god, these storms are absolutely massive. What is he doing with the Colossi and Immortals? Completely missed-targeting there. Why is he attacking the Planetary? He's gonna get absolutely blasted here in this fight. This is just... Is this just it? 2 disruptors on the way now. 3rd Robo. What a terrible fight by ShoWTimE. He hits every single storm initially and then moves towards the left side, walks into these mines, and that just wasn't it. That just was not it whatsoever. 6 Stalkers, couple of disruptors on the way. This is going to be so hard now for ShoWTimE to come back into this. Good scan out of HeroMarinE, just making sure, hey, am I still really far ahead? Yep, I am. Stim Sword with the units from the side. I mean, this Ghost, they do so freaking well against basically everything. We need 1 more scanning here, HeroMarinE. Disruptor is going to hit, I think, a single Ghost there. Might have hit a Viking as well, as I think eventually this will get cleaned up. But the question here is going to be at what cost, as we see 150 supply for HeroMarinE against a mere 107 for ShoWTimE. Scan forward out of HeroMarinE. You say this army is really small. I think we can just go again. Actually, it rotates towards the right side, which I like. This 5th base is going to get denied. There's no 5th on the way yet for ShoWTimE. +3 just finished up on infantry weapons. +3 ground armor is about to finish up as well. Here goes the first disruptor. Goes down without even hitting anything. And here comes the second disruptor. Perfect runaway. Perfect split/runaway here for HeroMarinE. It's gonna go for... Oh my god. Doesn't quite get the disruptor as the disruptor hits. I don't, however, think it is going to end up mattering as HeroMarinE. Oh my god, I say that he actually he got blasted pretty good, but nah, this is not going to be it. Too many Medivacs, too many Marauders, too many Marines. GG gets called, and ShoWTimE loses game number 1 in this best of 5 series between the two Germans. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, game number 2 here. Top left spawning as the red Protoss player down 1-0. It's going to be ShoWTimE, and the bottom right is going to be HeroMarinE. Who, after a game 1 where it was very far ahead, almost let ShoWTimE come back into it. ShoWTimE with a poor fight at that 3rd/4th base location. Actually ends up losing that game. Now we have Lightshade here, a map that generally is considered good for Terran players. Well, extremely good for Terran players even. Let's see how ShoWTimE will decide to deal with that, as we see no gas yet coming out of him. We have a Nexus at 17, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see this worker queued up to either this location, or this location, or this location. Okay, it's going to be this location. It's going to be for what I believe to be a proxy gate. I'm going to be having a look at exactly how ShoWTimE will do this. Yeah, okay, it's the exact build order. It's going to be 17 Nexus, followed up by a 16 gate, 17 Nexus, 17 gas, 18 Cyber Core, no Chrono Boost whatsoever, and then you get a pylon on the other side of the map. We'll see if HeroMarinE is ready for this. Is he gonna try to proxy a bunker? It is possible, of course, it is. We've seen it before. It's not going to be the case, though. He could also potentially play second Rex against this, but once again, also completely viable to just get a factory, perhaps straight rush to Cyclone, or open up with a mine and then go into Cyclone afterwards. All of these are fair options. They're options that are all possible, and you need to keep them in mind. As a Protoss player, which you're going to have very little scouting as a TOS in this type of scenario. You see double chrono going down right now. Now, actually, if I'm playing this scenario and I'm ShoWTimE, I don't actually mind my pylon being attacked, because honestly, it's kind of unlikely that this pylon goes down. And even if it does, you can just reinforce this. It also means that the Reaper is going to be on HeroMarine's side of the map. This actually is going to be close. No, I don't think so, actually. It's going to be like a solid 80, 90 lives. No, he doesn't need to do that, I think. Yes, he arrives at like 77 lives. Completely fine. Nothing wrong here. The second pylon, a complete waste at this point. I don't think you should finish that. Does finish it. ShoWTimE says, that's a hard disagree there, Kevin. I'm like, alright. That's how you want to play. That's completely fair. Of course, ShoWTimE didn't know it was just going to be a Reaper. What if an SCV shows up as well, right? Tries to do a couple of hits. Game might look very different all of a sudden. Second, a simulator going down. We see the first warp in at 3:20. About a second and a half late. Here, as the nice thing is that now ShoWTimE doesn't need to defend the pylon. I didn't consider that. So I actually like that pylon there. I'm sorry. I apologize. I shall not speak ever again. I actually believe you're supposed to just go on the SCVs rather than shade behind in this case. I actually think that's a mistake. 3 more adepts is also a mistake, as this is supposed to be Stalker, Stalker, Stalker already. At least if we follow by what Parting believes is best. He needs to shade out right now as the Cyclone comes in clutch. 36 workers to 31. I think HeroMarinE is going to be completely fine with this. Lost a little bit of mining time, which is always annoying as a Terran. You see the supplies a little bit less for him as well. He had to drop the mules in the main base, which once again... Holy crap, that's a fast supply drop. That's a really bad supply block here for HeroMarinE, by the way. It's kind of painful. Alright, it's gonna go for these Marines at least. Here come the Stalkers. Gonna be able to do a lot of damage, but these adepts aren't fighting what they should be fighting. Wrong side of the bunker as well. I don't think this trade was good at all. No, 750 resources lost against 400. Sure, 5 of those are SCVs, which will have a big impact on the economy, but we also still have 2 pylons and a gateway here, which will inevitably fall once you get pushed back and you start losing a lot of units. This Twilight Council went down after 11 units, 8 adepts, 3 stalkers, which is extremely late. So tech is delayed, third base is slightly delayed. We don't even have any detection. There's a possibility here that ShoWTimE straight up loses. There is a possibility here that ShoWTimE just straight up loses this series, this game. In a best of 5, sadly you do need to lose 3 games. So, well, sadly, luckily for ShoWTimE maybe, yes. This push is looking very, very powerful. The early game has been bad. And here comes HeroMarinE. Here comes the Crimson Chin. 2 batteries on the way. eBay here for HeroMarinE, aware that it could potentially be DT. He has 1 scan, 2 scans saving up. He's so solid right now. He's so solid. Adept was doing an okay job against the Cyclone, but... actually, there's no buts there. That was it. Okay job against the Cyclone. We have 2 Banshees on the map already, and you might be wondering why is there no cloak? Probably because he couldn't afford it gas-wise, but Banshees have insane DPS. So even just in an army, just doing damage is so freaking good. They just fight well. Unless you have like 1 Banshee against 7 Stalkers. Doesn't tend to be too good, but here with the tanks in the back, with the Marines underneath, should be fine. HeroMarinE saying, hey, I think I can actually just straight up ignore your third base. I'm just gonna go for the kill, and oh my god, this pylon was close to dying. It's actually a big deal because that's the one powering the super battery. Good blinks coming out of ShoWTimE. Immortal tried to move forward, try and snipe that tank. Didn't quite work out. Super battery is now non-active as ShoWTimE loses game number 2 as well. We'll be heading in game number 3, in which Wardii will join me with casting as well. We'll do the rest of the best of 5 together. So, see you there. Hello everyone, welcome back to game number 3 here. In the top left, spawning as the red Protoss player, playing for Team Berlin International Gaming. It is going to be the one and only Tobias ShoWTimE Sieber.
You know, you used to like to do both the intros and I used to get shouted out when I did them. So now I'm in fear. I don't say anything. And you just let me sit here like a fool.
Well, I figured at some point you're gonna have to go, you know?
Just cast a chicken that starts after the first introduction.
Yeah, exactly.
HeroMarinE's that blue Terran bottom right. He's been killing it. I know you kind of missed the first 2 games, but...
No, I saw both of them. Those,
you saw both of them?
I already casted them as well, Wardii.
Oh, you already... Oh, yes. Yeah. Right, yes.
So yeah, that last game was definitely... it's weird because it felt like the opening was quite good for ShoWTimE, right? Like I always feel like that at that build, it looks better than it in reality is. Like, because you are investing so much in things that are in tech, but I mean, you deny mining for so long every single time, and I know it just it looks good for some reason. Like as a toss, whenever I play it as well, I'm like, oh, this is a good opening, and nothing has happened yet. You know, it's like it makes absolutely no sense. He went for battery in the main and then decided to keep his adept at home. Now that is kind of weird to me, honestly, because the only reason you get the battery in the main is so you can send the first adept across the map. You could say, well, can't he just send 2 adepts across the map now? And that's actually not how it works, because at this point your natural is also going to be mining, so you'll still need to keep an adept at home. HeroMarinE is going to try to sacrifice his Reaper here. Well, the sacrifice is always going to work. The scout is the difficult part. He does get the scout off though, I believe, right? He sees the Stargate, and now the question is, can he get out of here? The answer will be no, most likely, unless ShoWTimE really messes up, which of course he doesn't. Did end up losing a worker though, Wardii. So I think I think honestly, HeroMarinE looks at this game and says, okay, he built a battery in the main base. He didn't do any damage on my side of the map. I scouted what tech he has, and I got a probe kill. That's way more than you expect as a Terran.
Yeah, that's really, really good stuff from the Reaper. Is now ShoWTimE will bring 3 adapts across the map into what a bunker. You can maybe try and shade behind the mineral line, but the Marine count's good enough to contest these adepts either way, so he's going to go for it. He gets 1 Marine right away, which is a good start. Now he gets a second. Okay, I lied. The Marine count was not good enough.
I actually think that HeroMarinE wanted to pull SCVs there, but then accidentally grabbed the Mu, and he didn't want to lose it, so he pulled them back. That actually cost him a fair amount. This was fantastic control by ShoWTimE, by the way, who got 4 kills, I believe. A couple of unit kills, which is nice. It's only lost a single probe so far. Now, Oracle goes into the main base. There is a turret there, but manages to pick off the SCV building on that factory. That's actually gonna delay what HeroMarinE has planned. Usually this is the type of thing where you want to get those medevacs as soon as possible, but now for a second time that factory gets denied, and I think HeroMarinE is gonna get a little bit frustrated by that.
Yeah, slows it down. Obviously not what you'd like to see, and a couple SCVs killed on the Oracle, and just that single Oracle, 1 Phoenix, and now straight to a 3rd base from ShoWTimE. So he's already building up into his just nice, strong economy at home, and you'll probably look at the tech behind this, into the Forge, the Twilight, all that good stuff for future upgrades, and obviously just prepare for the mid stages of the game from here.
Yeah, perhaps if he had seen like a 3rd command center, he throws down a Robo, right, and a Forge and a Twilight, and he can get into those Colossi pre the 2 medevac move out. But in this case, I think this is completely the correct call. I'd be surprised if he opens up with Blink, but it has been something that I've seen some people do. They open at Oracle Phoenix and still go Blink. Very often, if there's even any Phoenix on the map, Charge tends to be the follow-up. But because it's only a single Phoenix, we might actually be looking at some Blink Stalkers here. We have double batteries going down, +1 starting, and what is the Twilight upgrade? It is going to be Blink this time, Wardii.
Yeah, Blink it is, as you do see ShoWTimE moving to the right side. Obviously, he is tracking these Marines with the Revelation, and these Marines are... I mean, I feel like they're very hopeful considering Revelation is up on them, so they're going to move up this ramp, get force fielded in, he'll stim, and, well, he goes, but he finds himself 2 sentries in the end, which is decent. Couple of adepts, too. There's still a lot of Marines to lose out on, though, so kind of a bit of a 50-50 trade. Like, I like the sentries being killed, but, again, high Marine count loss, and now you don't have as much bio for the next push along.
Yeah, and... I do like the sentry snipes, obviously, because those will need to be rebuilt. When you're playing something like Blink Stalkers and you're playing against a relatively high Marauder count, it's just nice to be able to cut that army in half. However, I think this actually was good value for ShoWTimE, because the army isn't going to be as big, and the smaller the armies, the better it tends to be for the defensive TOS player, because the battery tends to do more. Even without overcharging that battery, it's going to be more useful, right? Because units just won't die under the DPS of less units. So this push that HeroMarinE is doing, straight up in an engagement, unless ShoWTimE really messes it up, really shouldn't be able to do anything. And ShoWTimE realizes this, throws down a couple of extra gateways, takes the gases on his 3rd base already, and opens and just builds a Robo base. So the Robo base kind of is the sign where as an observer or a spectator, you can go, okay, the Protoss feels safe enough to get the Robo base, which is just such a long investment that doesn't pay off until like a minute and a half from now. So if the TOS feels too pressured, usually they can't get the Robo base out.
Nope, but yeah, no reason for him to really feel pressured, right? There's just nothing really going on, and HeroMarinE himself, 3rd CC on location into his extra rack, so it's going to be a little while till anything really builds up from him, right? This little drop on the right side or cluster of units, it's just going to be held off by a couple of force fields, should be able to hold it back. He could probably neither hit the force fields, but obviously the Oracle's here, keeps the Revelation on it, so again, you know where it's coming from, and no real reason that ShoWTimE should mess this one up.
No real reason. There is a double mind drop heading towards the natural, but I've never seen someone as prepared as ShoWTimE is this game, honestly. Cannon in every base. There was Stalkers in that natural as well. Now, actually, missing the force field slightly. Needs to move back to the battery. Observer barely manages to stay alive. I mean, this is still fine trades for ShoWTimE. He doesn't need to be careful, though. Very often it feels like you're doing great as TOS, because earlier you were up 20 workers. Oh my god. Where did this mine drop come from? Was that from the top?
I have no idea. Just in the main base somehow. It didn't come through the top. It must have gone
the
through
right
the
side.
middle? Left side?
Yeah, right side. Probably
Was it
after he cleared. It has to be. Like there was a Phoenix patrolling, and
Yeah.
this medevac had like no damage at all. So,
I know, but I don't believe my own eyes missed it, Harstem.
yeah, me neither. It's hard to believe sometimes, Wardii, that we really suck this hard at what we do. And yet here we are. You casting 15 hours a day, me playing 12 a day for the past 10 years, and can't even spot a simple mind drop. We have a bunch of medevacs out, by the way, which is kind of cool. He went for 8 medevacs total before switching into Vikings, which shows that HeroMarinE feels pretty comfortable with the rotations that he can do, and felt pretty comfortable with the early game. Usually the worse the early game is for Terran, the faster they want to go into those Vikings, because they just don't feel like they can get the map presence to do something with the medevacs, and they're afraid of dying to Colossi counterattacks. But HeroMarinE is one of those guys that actually is extremely good at figuring out when he can do certain things, when he can get away with extra medevacs, when he can get away with cutting those Vikings for as long as possible and being out on the map, denying vision, because that's really what Terran wants to do, right? And then eventually, once it's like, okay, playtime now is over, I feel like the TOS defense is so well set up that I can't attack him anymore, you can start gearing up for a push. And I think HeroMarinE here has a pretty powerful push, honestly. There's only 2 Colossi, there is 3 sentries, which should be helpful, and the battery and the cannon will also be helpful, but there's not a single disruptor yet, which actually is kind of scary at this point. I mean, with +2 for the Terran army, and if this Viking count goes up to like 8 or 10, these Colossi might actually be in danger. Even though this army of HeroMarinE doesn't look that scary, this is really Marauder heavy.
Yeah, the disruptor's missing really hurts, because a disruptor just does so much to buy you time, right? It forces the Terran to back, it forces the reposition, and you can play around that a lot as well. So first ones are on the way out, so they're starting to get here. Will just be one initially, the next 2 in production. These Vikings not able to find a way through just yet, but ShoWTimE's kind of just bleeding out a couple gateway units. I mean, HeroMarinE's bleeding out a couple bio units as well. Now the Vikings find a volley onto a Colossus, gets rid of the shields. Now it's going to drain up the rest of the battery energy, so now we're basically reliant on a super battery and no other healing.
Yeah, that's going to be rough for ShoWTimE here. That's a good disruptor shot. Doesn't really hit anything. Did manage to zone the opponent's army back. Here we go. Super battery obviously gets activated. We need to see a disengage here from HeroMarinE. Goes up the ramp to try and form some type of concave there. I don't like that he chased that far with those Vikings. He's doing a good job though, making sure that that super battery doesn't impact the fight too much. I'm not sure if he can continue fighting though. He tries to pretend like he wants to go. Can he go into this, Wardii?
I don't think so, because he has to go back down the ramp, right? That's the one thing ShoWTimE's really won here, the position. He does get down the ramp, though. ShoWTimE kind of just lets him come down. Now the Vikings on top of the Colossi, so he gets rid of one. The bio unit's going to be able to get rid of the Zealots. Well, not really very quickly. The Colossi now, one of them surviving because the Vikings got taken down by the Stalkers, and another Colossus survives.
Yeah.
And that's enough. ShoWTimE is going to make the hold. HeroMarinE tapping out to give ShoWTimE finally a point on the board.
Yeah, that of course was kind of painful there for HeroMarinE. I was thinking, I think he should just go back. It's not like his position was unwinnable, right? He still had decent supply count. Did he have a fort base on the way? Let me check.
I don't think he did.
He didn't have a fort base on the way. He did have 3 too, and a Ghost Academy. Do you think he forgot the fort base, or just nah?
I feel like with the way he's been playing today, I feel like he didn't want a 4th base, because he's been playing very like in your face, I'm gonna kill you, or I'm gonna leave the game because I didn't get you, you know, sort of thing. So
yeah, all right.
Starting off with the red Protoss player, it is ShoWTimE.
Yeah. And in the top right, spawning as the blue Terran player playing for Team Mouse, it is going to be HeroMarinE. 2 more months, and HeroMarinE will have been in Mouse gaming for the past 10 years of his life. I believe it is the 12th or the 13th of May, something like that, in 2011 when he joined. Back then, Mr. Gabriel Segat was a mere 13 years old when he joined Mouse, and now he's 23 and he's still in Mouse. Some background there, Wardii.
That's crazy.
It actually is crazy. Like, he was freaking... I remember, I want to say in 2013, there was a cup at Dennis's house, like called the 1DE Cup, which I played in, Monchi, Hazelwops, and HeroMarinE. I'm pretty sure that HeroMarinE got 2nd place there, and Hazelwops beat him in the final. back then he was 15. Little 15-year-old. Was already basically playing with the best of Europe at the time. I think he went all the way through the winner bracket finals. I want to say this was during the launch of Heart of the Swarm, like early 2013. Was absolutely crazy. Like how good he was, how quickly he was good. The only thing that kind of surprised me is that it took so long for him to start posting results this big, you know?
Yeah.
Like he's always been there. I think his biggest run was probably the Montreal run in 2016, no? Where he got to the semifinals, beating Special in the quarters. Can't quite remember who he lost to back then. Was that true?
I don't know. So I was finding this tournament you're talking about. You were exactly right. Hasselhoff's 4-3 in the finals.
Yeah, I remember because Hasselhoff had a strategy there where he would save 3 oracles up against Terran and go in as the Terran moved out with the first 2 metavex. And he was telling me this like it was the most brilliant thing. I was like, this is so dumb. And he worked every single time. All right, enough about 8-9 years ago, as the present is a little bit brighter. HeroMarinE is a lot better right now. Everyone's a little bit better, obviously. We don't see the triple oracle save up quite as much anymore that Hasselhoff was bragging about back in the day. So we have, just a little bit of some replay. Look at the control by HeroMarinE, man. He's showing off at this point. HeroMarinE is feeling it. I think HeroMarinE recently said somewhere, it might have been an interview or might have been on his stream. He said that he feels like he is favored against every European Protoss and that they're just simply not as good as their Korean counterparts. And it's always funny when people say that type of stuff to me and then they lose. But HeroMarinE just doesn't really lose that much to the European tosses. Actually, last Monday, I believe he lost to ShoWTimE in the EPT Cup, no? Yeah. Yeah, it was like 3 days or 4 days after he said that, which always makes me giggle a bit. But now, I mean, this is a bigger tournament. This is more important. And HeroMarinE probably was aware of his group already back then. So, he might have saved a little bit. Here we go. Reaper plus Hellion. Try to bounce away this Adept. But ShoWTimE's just a little bit too fast for that. Just a little bit too good. This might work against mediocre Dutch Protoss players, but this isn't going to work against the Mauer himself. He knows how to wall off. He knows how to make sure that nothing comes in.
Yeah, he's always just so good at that early game defense, as we do have our Dark Shrine going to be coming into play soon then, so the Warp Prism will be out. We'll go across the map and we'll see if these DTs can have some success. I will say that most of the DTs we've seen so far today, we haven't actually seen them much in this series, but most DTs today have kind of sucked, so I'm excited for some DTs to maybe do some real damage here.
Yeah, Raven is on the way. This Prism did get spotted. Now, there's also a big threat actually on the side of ShoWTimE, because he's going to be warping 3 DTs on the other side. His gates will be on cooldown. He's going to have 2 Adepts at home. There's no batteries. There's going to be about 10 units on his side of the map. So, sure, HeroMarinE is going to lose probably some workers. Oh my god, there's a turret already. There's 2 turrets. What in the world?
That's great, but you do actually need to put the units in position to actually defend this. At the same time, HeroMarinE in the main base is having a good time, so ShoWTimE is losing a few probes to this drop. He's actually going to have to pull the probes in to fight the Marines. The Marines are going to get to the corner and just sit between the minerals, so they are going to continue to trade very well. Now HeroMarinE is just going to lift up, go to the natural. Guess what? Now the Hellion Reaper is in the natural. This is going to keep on adding up. ShoWTimE's bringing his Prism back home. He's done trying to harass. He needs to try and defend this right now.
Yeah, warped in a DT at home as well. This medevac is going to have a great time because there is no blink yet. The stalker count is relatively low, so it managed to the ping pong between the main and the natural. Now decides to go home, but this was a great start. 14 workers killed of your opponent as a Terran player, being even in workers. Like, this is the Terran wet dream right here, Wardii. Like, this is as good as it's going to get. We see HeroMarinE already on 3 racks. He has a Raven out, so he won't even need to use any scans while moving across the map. ShoWTimE is lucky that the follow-up isn't going to be Colossi, because then this Raven would basically be of double use. But, I mean, even now, like... Oh, HeroMarine's just going to move across the map, isn't he? With Combat Shield, a bunch of Vikings. How is ShoWTimE going to hold this, Wardii? How?
I don't know, to be honest. He's not really in a great spot. He's going to try and buy time with the Archons, right? But that's really all he's going to have, and even that just doesn't seem like it's going to be too successful, as the Viking is going to chase this Prism down, and he's not going to chase all the way. Prism gets out alive at least, but definitely is not going to think twice about. He's going to have to think twice about going back in.
Yeah, don't think twice. As HeroMarinE starts moving out now, I have to admit that this is very dangerous for ShoWTimE, but HeroMarine's position was so good, and now he is kind of risking that position in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like probably a follow-up with Stim and Combat Shield a bit later would have given him a bigger edge. Here it's possible that he gets blasted once charge finishes. Charge is not quite done yet. I don't think ShoWTimE can engage into this, especially not with the turrets. Their first Archon almost dies. I hope this one battery ends up finishing, because perhaps with a super battery you will be able to do something. Of course,
That's
here,
not though.
yeah.
He's got another one actually. The other build instruction on the left side is a battery too. So yeah, maybe with a super battery, there is some hope. Obviously, HeroMarinE is going to play this a little bit safe. He's going to pull back, sit behind what is a building bunker. Of course, no stim or anything just yet, but it's just a lack of units here from ShoWTimE, right? It's an Archon, an Immortal, and some units that have charge, and that's about it. HeroMarinE sits between the Sim City, and well, there's a super battery to try and save it, but a lot of what HeroMarine's fighting right now isn't even in range of the super battery, so it's not even finding much value. Does warp in on top of the siege tank with these few zealots. Bunker up, holding for a little while longer. Super battery gone, but a second Immortal here in ShoWTimE is going to end up turning this away.
Yeah, this is what I meant, Wardii. The moment charge finishes, this type of position without stim is not easy to hold whatsoever. Now, this doesn't mean that the game is over. Sure, ShoWTimE is slightly ahead in workers, but there is some mines on the way, and he's playing against a charge-based army. So it is still possible that HeroMarinE can find an aggressive spot here, but he doesn't have a third base yet. Hell, he's playing 5 Rex here. Throws down another supply depot here, because he was a little bit supply. Look, that's the second one this game already, so a little bit sloppy. But on the other hand, of course, can't blame the guy. If you have an ability like that, God knows I'd need to do a lot as well. So you'd love to see it, Wardii. Absolutely love to see it. Raven also still alive, which is massive, by the way.
Yeah, the utility from the Raven, if that can come into any sort of future fight, just helps to tilt things in HeroMarine's favor again. As we do have the Prism, though, going to go up the right side, and if this can be successful, this can obviously change the pacing of the game a lot as well. There's nothing at home for HeroMarinE. His production is very limited as well, right? Only a couple of units already out, so going to have to wait on a lot of reinforcements. So ShoWTimE gets in, workers have to pull. Let's see if ShoWTimE can defend while he's doing well on the other side.
Yeah. That's a nice thing when everything is being rallied across the map, is that these prisms can do so much damage. Good pickup there by ShoWTimE on the other side, by the way. Dodges these 2 mines, gets those. And the mines are really the thing he's the most afraid of, because as long as the mine count keeps growing, it becomes really difficult for ShoWTimE to break that position. He brings the prism back, and I love this. He wants to break this position. Now, there is no observer with this army. 3-4 mines go down before they get a shot off. The final 2, one of them gets a really good shot, the other one a terrible one. Prism comes back. Can ShoWTimE use that prism before the reinforcements of HeroMarinE arrive? I think he can. Here comes the flank. This is looking so good for the German Protoss player. Shouldn't be chasing too far, as he's gonna start bleeding out some units, but so far so good, Wardii.
So far
GG.
so good. Good enough to take the game. ShoWTimE ties it up 2-2, turning this one round, and the entire series now lies on a final map, map number 5, which we'll dive on into in a sec.
Indeed, indeed. All right, Wardii. Game number 5 here. The final game of this, so far, honestly, fantastic best of 5. The top right spawning as the red Protoss player. Playing for Team Berlin International Gaming. It's going to be ShoWTimE. And in the bottom left, spawning as the blue Terran player. Playing for Team Mouse. Closing in on that 10-year achievement. It is HeroMarinE. Also known as Big Gabe. Do you like those pauses, Wardii?
Yeah, you know, it's actually been forever since I've done like a swirly intro as well. Now I know why.
So
I was actually just having fun at the first one.
All right. ShoWTimE goes for the quick scout. We see a gas being built in his base, and it is being saturated. So we're not going to be seeing none of that 3-gate garbage. Well, garbage. The 3-gate shenanigans that he did earlier on. We're going to be seeing some Some solid play, and he's been mixing it up, Wardii. He's been mixing it up, and that's kind of what you want to see out of a Protoss these days. You can't the days where Zest beat every single one with the blink, and then the next year he beat everyone with the oracle into blink, and then the next year he beat everyone with the robo. You know, like this this doesn't exist anymore. As a Protoss, you need to be able to play a big diversity of builds. You need to be able to mix it up, and especially on a map like Oxide, that is so important because it's so easy to hide what you are doing that you want to keep the opponent guessing always. Thinking back of that, it actually surprised me a bit that HeroMarinE did end up going for that Reaper on Oxide, because very often Terrans don't do it because it's so tricky to scout on that map. Like with the wall that you can build as TOS, like really what's the point? Now that obviously wasn't the reason why HeroMarinE lost, but it is something to note that's interesting. He seems to really like that Reaper. As I say that, he obviously opens up with a Marine into a factory. This was right? Factory into reactor?
Yep. Beautifully dictated, as we do have the Adept coming across the map, so a bit of action to start. Obviously, again, this Marine will have a bunker. He can shade past, try and delay the command center potentially, so that's the dance we're going to watch for now. Obviously, just one Marine doesn't hurt too much either, as the Adept shades, surely, and close for the SCV is going to go to the other side. Wow, SCV RNG is on HeroMarinE's side today. That's beautiful.
That is beautiful indeed, Wardii. Starport is about to finish up. We're still on a single gas here, and we're only seeing Hellion production so far. This one Hellion is gonna try to take out this Adept, and I think it might be. Oh my good lord!
Just wins.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like a full-on trade. Yeah, draw, both die, or both, you know, give up. Very often the Terran will say, "Hi, this is not worth it." Let's piss off. Especially because it's so important to keep your Hellions alive if you're gonna drop them, right? The difference between like 2 and 3 Hellions is absolutely massive when you're trying to kill probes. So we'll see what's gonna happen. I actually think he's gonna drop the Marines, by the way.
Yeah, no, I'd imagine so, right? 2 Hellions run by, Marines drop. Pretty powerful combo, and right now, ShoWTimE, battery feels... it's on the way. It's going to be, what, another 15-20 seconds? Medevac's halfway across, has a boost him in a moment. Might be a bit of trouble here for ShoWTimE.
Yeah, it does have one more warp in though, so it's going to get 2 Stalkers on the natural most likely. Could also be Stalker Sentry, that would be a little bit worse. ShoWTimE is seeing it, can pull every... Oh my god, full wall, absolutely beautiful move obviously. And HeroMarinE will have to accept that this is now a no-go zone. Which, that's fair play, you know? It's just sometimes that just happens, Wardii. They did delay the Robo Bay a little bit, by the way. I think ShoWTimE is... He wants to go into Robo Bay. Everything indicates Robo Bay play from here, but he hasn't thrown it down yet. Perhaps he's afraid. This is a solid 20 seconds late on that Robo Bay. Stim also isn't very fast, though. I don't think this is going to be a deciding factor in this game.
Yeah, no, obviously 4 gas is not much else to do other than put the Robo Bay down, so... was expected in the end, as we just have the scan in the main, gets rid of an observer. HeroMarinE some revenge for his plans or his attack being foiled. This medevac is very sneaky. I can't actually see it because it was so far off the edge of the screen. Going to come across now, and he's going to try and just find an opening for these 3 Hellions, but the Stalker's there, so that opening isn't there yet. He's just going to be patient, unload them, maybe just use them as some map control and get the medevac home. Or maybe even, this is cool, right? Fake out that they're still in here and then run to the left side. Cool ideas, but ShoWTimE saw it all with the observer.
Yeah, this only works if your opponent isn't as good as ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE has perfect vision on the map right now. He's getting a Colossi out. Like I said, this Colossi is a little bit late. Also starts Charge and a Forge, and he's going to need a couple of extra gateways actually. His gateway count is lacking a little bit. That is not because he doesn't want to, but it's just because he can't. He doesn't have the money. This phase as a Protoss player, you're investing a lot in tech and upgrades. And you're basically lacking a gate count. You can cut some workers for that, but I don't think that's something you'd really want to do. Now, this is 3 tanks already. Wait, what? Single medevac? No reactor yet on the starport?
Well, the medevac's just the one that was alive from earlier, right? So...
He doesn't have stim
Uh,
or combat.
he has nothing actually, does he?
What is
Wow.
this build?
Yeah, I don't know. I saw concussive shells in the way, and I just sort of assumed, you know. But yeah, this is going to be weird. I mean, Colossus can do very well here. He does get out with the sentries alive, and Colossus turns around. Obviously, no range on that Colossus, which is kind of a saving grace at the moment for HeroMarinE. Otherwise, be in way more trouble. A couple of Hellions get to your probes, and they get pushed back. And HeroMarinE is going to continue up. I mean, Stim and combat just started, so it's not like he's going to suddenly get them during the fight or something. He's got over a minute to wait for those to finish up.
Yeah, he prioritized the tank, like a higher tank count over stim and combat. Now, that could be considered a mistake, but I'm not sure if it actually is. I kind of like this build, honestly. Look how much control he gets of this ramp. He's gonna shoot down the rowboat. This wouldn't have been possible with like a tank and a half less. So I kind of like this. I don't think I've seen this before. HeroMarinE doesn't tend to invent many builds himself, so I expect that this was done by a Korean before. If that's the case, if someone could tell me who did it first, I'm curious. But this looks really, really cool, and I can't remember seeing this before, Wardii.
No, it's a lot of tanks and a lot of bio with no upgrades. It's crazy. Well, yeah, it's worked brilliantly because now you've completely halted Colossus productions. You take away ShoWTimE's main form of kind of, well, getting an army up here, and he's got to rebuild that robot. It's about to finish, so at least he can reproduce Colossi now, but yeah. And the only good thing for ShoWTimE, I guess, is that HeroMarine's army isn't great at kind of going further than this, simply for the fact the real power in this is just the tanks, right? You can't really look to force a fight without the stim and stuff, but that's about to change.
Yeah, once stim and combat finishes, that natural is so... It's just in trouble. No, it's just... It sucks. He needs to scan this observer, by the way. Holy crap, I didn't realize that there was an observer there. That's super important, the fact that he isn't seeing that. Now, this engagement for ShoWTimE is a little bit desynchronized, which sucks. Has a lot of batteries in the natural. Here goes ShoWTimE. Tank, focus fire, good on the disruptor. Let's see, next shots are going to be on those stalkers. Oh my god, HeroMarinE is just completely blasting through ShoWTimE. What a build order, Wardii. What a crazy strategy.
It works beautifully, though, as we do see the Colossi going down despite the super battery. Only one of them surviving, but there's just no defense on this third base as the bio units cleave through the cannon, the batteries, and HeroMarinE. He had a 2-0 lead. He let slip to Game 5, but he finds the power with this fascinating build in the final map to actually come out ahead and to close it out.
It's honestly so well thought out as well, because on this map it's impossible for TOS to go up that ramp, right? So what HeroMarinE does, instead of going later with a tank all-in, where he'll have less tanks, he just decides, I'm gonna get so many tanks in a basically unbreakable position, and you're not sure whether I have stim or not, and even if you do, are you really gonna attack into 5 tanks on top of a ramp without vision? Now, this time ShoWTimE did have vision because of the observer, but this was super well done, honestly, by HeroMarinE. What a cool build order. Very, very cute. Super map specific, I think, as well. I don't think this is possible on most maps, but because of that ramp on top of the natural, this was extremely well done. Cool build order here. I like that.
Yep.
And that's going to be it for this series, Wardii. I forgot to mention almost the closing words as HeroMarinE takes the series 3-2 against ShoWTimE.